What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to make a distinction and talk about the topic of regret versus reflection. And I was pondering the notion of regret. Some people, they have some regrets in their life. I'm somebody who I have the mentality that regrets don't serve you. Even in your most grave mistakes that you've made, it doesn't serve you to have regret over them. And it's really just a waste of time and energy, and it creates a lot of suffering in our lives. But there's also a notion in a lot of self-help that, thinking about the past is a grave, and we can't live in the past, and we can't get stuck in the past. And I get what that's pointing to. I understand fundamentally that's a pretty good message, but there's something there that's missing. I think there's a key distinction that's missing, and that's why I wanted to talk about regret versus reflection today. Yes, it is a mistake to dwell on the past in a regretful way. And even more than a mistake, it's just something that does, like I said before, does not service you. There's nothing to gain from that. But what do regret and reflection have in common? Well, regret and reflection both involve taking a look at the past. But one of them serves you and one of them doesn't. Like I said, regret doesn't serve you, but reflection definitely serves you. So if you have made some choices that have gone to hurt you and have created a lot of suffering, it is worth taking a look at your past, not to dwell on, oh, I shouldn't have made that choice, if only I had done this, then everything would be different. But rather to reflect on the lessons that decision that you made tried to teach you. So a good example of this is maybe you got a pet, and then some time goes on and you realize that this pet is a lot more responsibility than you thought. You got a dog or a cat, whatever. And it's affecting your life in a way that you didn't really see coming. Like, there's a lot of responsibility, there's a lot of time that goes into it, and you didn't really understand what you were signing up for when you got your dog or your cat. But now you have a bit of an emotional attachment to this dog or cat. Some time goes by and you realize, okay, I want to rehome my dog or cat. And you rehome your dog or your cat, and you suffer a little bit because of that, because you formed a bond with this animal, but you didn't want to put in all that time and energy to caring for them. You're not at a point in your life where you could, whatever the situation is. This is just an example. Rather than looking back in the past and dwelling on this notion of, oh, I miss my dog so much, I should have never got a dog in the first place, or I should have never got a cat in the first place. Now I have to live with this decision that I made, and you're kind of just sulking in your sorrow. Rather than doing that, you can take a look at the situation, you can look back into the past, but for reflective reasons. So think, okay, I suffered here. Wherever there's some suffering involved, I believe there's lessons to be learned. So what's the lesson to be learned? Maybe I have to take a look at what the big picture is next time I'm making a choice. I have to be less short-sighted. I have to have more big picture perspective. And that's a very valuable lesson. Big picture perspective is something that will serve you in all areas of your life. So that's obviously just one example. There's a ton of other examples. You can use this notion of regret versus reflection for any area in your life where you made some decisions that didn't really work out for the best. Rather than dwelling on the pain and the suffering, look back, not to simply suffer and dwell on it, but you can look back. It can serve you to look back and reflect on it and understand what lessons are there for you, rather. Whenever we face some challenges or some issues, there's this really good principle of breaking things down, breaking a situation down into two categories. What can I change and what can't I change? And take the second category of what can't I change and forget about it. What you can't change, it's going to waste your time to dwell on it. So just think about what can I change? And this is the same idea for regret versus reflection. You can't change the past, but what you can change is your behavior moving forward. And how should you change your behavior moving forward depends on the lessons that you learned in the past. oftentimes when we don't really grasp the lesson that some of our suffering was trying to teach us, the universe has a funny way of presenting us with that lesson that it was trying to teach us in an even bigger way, in a way that's going to create even more suffering along the same lines or the same theme. So that's just something to keep in mind, is that when you're not learning lessons that life is trying to teach you, you're going to fall into the same patterns, and you're going to have to learn the hard way through more intense situations that are going to possibly make you suffer more. And that's not, that sounds kind of woo-woo or fluffy, but it makes very logical sense when you think about it. If you made a mistake, for lack of a better word, I don't really believe in mistakes and regrets, that's why I'm making this video here, but if you made a mistake, for a lack of a better word, and you didn't learn the lesson from the mistake, you're going to make the same mistake again, and possibly even bigger this time, because you didn't learn it the first time. And hopefully then you'll learn the lesson at least. So that's something to be mindful of. And that's a good reason why looking back into the past isn't necessarily a bad thing if you're doing so with the intention of reflection and growth and learning, rather than wallowing in your own suffering along the lines of regret. So that's it for today's video. I just wanted to break down that distinction of regret versus reflection. Reflection serves you, regret does not. And contrary to some popular self-help gurus' notions, it actually does and can serve you to look into your past depending on your intention. So that's it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give it a like. Share this video with a friend, maybe somebody that you think needs to hear this little lesson. And be sure to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one.